Hello everyone, CMeeCraft here, and welcome to the stream! We're back with Tyrion Cuthbert, attorney of the Arcane. It'll show up, just you wait. There we go, okay. So last week we finished up case 1, so now, naturally, we're gonna go to case 2 of 5. The Walking Dead. Hopefully without any trademark infringements. Oh, by the way, good news, I got my power fixed, so that's something. Anyways, Wallace Nightgrave. Let me go! I'm not going anywhere until I see her! I'm sorry, Wallace, but she's already passed. There was nothing more they could have done. How? This academy teaches the best mages in the kingdom! Are you telling me they couldn't do anything? Her condition was much worse than we thought. The kingdom's magic isn't advanced enough to treat something like this. Lucia Steelwind can raise meteors from the sky. William Frega can teleport entire caravans across the continent. You telling me that your mages couldn't cure one disease? I'm sorry. I truly am. Emily. Episode 2. The Walking Dead. I'm sorry, Celeste, but there's no way out of this. Celeste's attention is sharply focused on the chessboard between you two. You can see her eyes quickly dart from piece to piece. Just give me a second. I can still win this. Celeste, there's no way for you to avoid checkmate next turn. It's just the way chess is. Just surrender. She ignores you and continues staring at the pieces. There, what about that? Checkmate. Damn it! Would you two keep it down? We are in a library. Miss Tamora glances at the chessboard. I hope you didn't spend the entire morning playing around. I've been working hard, Ruby. I've already learned 2 new spell formulas since we got here. Cool. Is she, like, with us now? I guess? I obviously got her off for murder, so that... I can assume that gave us some degree of loyalty and... cachet with her. But... you aren't going home to Mama? Well, at least there's that. What about you, Cuthbert? Well... your flustered stammering tells her exactly how much progress you've made. I couldn't find any books about the subject we've been looking into. You've spent the entire day combing through the kingdom's imperial library, researching the Eye of Horus. During Celeste's trial, you awakened to a new ability that you never used before. Up until then, you thought that the eye could only see surface-level thoughts. But during that moment of Garrett Pierce, the Eye of Horus was empowered, and you could see far more than usual. You told Miss Tamora about what happened, and it made you both wonder what other hidden abilities I might have. You both decided it's time to find out more about the Eye and its origins. This library supposedly held the kingdom's entire knowledge of magic and arcane arts. But you couldn't find a single mention of any ability like the Eye. Does the kingdom seriously lack knowledge about it? Or do we need to look somewhere else? Are you sure you can't tell me what you're researching? I've traveled around the world. I might have seen something like it. You entertain the thought for a moment, but you haven't known her for very long. The Eye of Horus is a supernatural ability that can't be detected by a spell compendium. You've always been wary about what the kingdom might do to you if they ever found out about it. Sorry, it's not something I can really talk about. Fine. If I had to guess, I would say they're looking into supernatural phenomena. Ah! You and Celeste nearly jump out of your chairs. You look over to where the voice came from. She appears to be a student at the academy. Very purple eyes. How long was she there? You didn't notice her presence at all. You also feel like she looks oddly familiar. I'm terribly sorry if I startled you, but I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. As the girl approaches your table, you see another student frantically running after her. Eris, you got just... I'm so sorry. Oh, it's fine, Wallace. I'm sorry, but who are you two? Sorry, that was incredibly rude of me. My name is Eris Ilmater. Eris Ilmater. Students. Okay. And this is Wallace Nightgrave. We're both students here. Wallace Nightgrave, students. Okay. Not to be rude, but that was a private conversation. Just how much did you hear? I wonder. Reading about the supernatural is actually a hobby of mine. I might be able to help you with your research, Mr. Cuthbert. And what makes you so sure that is what we were researching? Mr. Cuthbert has a bad habit of muttering to himself when he thinks. I assumed that his research had something to do with the supernatural. You feel a piercing side glance from Miss Tamora. Haha. Vocalizing your thoughts helps them be clearer in your mind. Come on, cut me some slack. You avoid eye contact with her. But anyways, do you mind if I ask you a few But anyways, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Of course. I'll be happy to help. Wait, fine, I suppose it wouldn't hurt. What? What was that? There seems to be a glitch in reality. That's, somewhat concerning. What is that? That's what I'm asking, Jedi Steve. Just remember to show some discretion, Tyrion. Right. I will examine the area. The library is full of books for educational purposes. You've been combing through these books all morning. It's a holy text of some kind. It must be related to the Church of Bahamut. It's a table for students to sit at. You've been sitting here with Celeste all morning. It's a globe of the world. It's amazing how many other nations there are aside from Wyverngard. I've been to most of these places. You should come with me next time, Tyrion. That's a nice thought. Maybe we can travel with her when you're less busy. Okay, that seems to be everything. Now let's talk. Let's hear a bit about you, Eris. So, you two are students at the Imperial Academy. Yes, I'm currently studying illusion magic. Illusions? That's the kind of magic that lets you turn invisible, right? Technically, yes, but few mages ever reach a high level enough for that. I'm a bit embarrassed to admit that I'm not able to cast invisibility. It's still pretty cool. What about you, Wallace? Wallace has his own unique field of study. Unique, eh? Necromancy, I assume. Just, yeah, given that that's written right there. It's probably not your place to pry. Alright. Well, what do you have to say about our search? Everyone is talking about you two. Really? It's rare for the school to let any outsiders in. That makes sense. This library isn't exactly open to the public. You were only able to get access to it because of Miss Tamura's connections. We only ever get occasional visits from the noble houses. So, I was curious as to who was able to break this dull monotony. Well, I'm a mercenary, but now I work as Tyrion's bodyguard. Mercenary? After a trial, it turned out that Celeste was more than capable of affording your services. However, Miss Tamura still proposed a different arrangement. After indicting Garrick Pierce, you painted a large target on your back. With Celeste being a mercenary, Miss Tamura decided to hire her as your bodyguard. She figured you would feel more comfortable around someone you were already friends with. Anyways, I'm a defense attorney. Defense attorney? Huh. My apologies. It's just not what I was expecting. What's that supposed to mean? Here, look, I'll even show you. I've got my attorney's runestone right here. I'm a real attorney. What do you think of this, Eris? You're already resorting to presenting me things. We've only just started. I really think you're overthinking things. I feel like she's sort of like leaning on the fourth wall there. What? Or do you simply want to see all the unique things that I have to say? Okay, she's like really shoving against the fourth wall now. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not some script. Oh, whoa, hold on. I just noticed how evil she is. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not some script for you to toy around with. Feel free to try again later, though. You're not exactly sure what she's talking about. Like I said, between that and like the glitches, I'm wondering, is illusion magic the fourth wall breaking magic? Bad sign? Yeah, bad sign indeed. So that's supernatural phenomena. Your whole existence seems to be one. Supernatural phenomena. I wonder why you'd be researching such a thing. Yeah, I would know too. Look, it's on a need-to-know basis, and neither of you need to know. If you must know, though, I'm an attorney of the Arcane. I need to know about magic in order to defend my clients properly. I'm sorry, but I can't really say. Regardless, there are many bells in this world. So, why are you so convinced that this phenomenon wasn't produced by a spell? Wait, what we're looking for doesn't seem to follow the classic rules of magic. How so? Please, tell me. It was created by someone who's not a mage. Oh, really? So you're saying that this was something created by a person? Ruby, I'm Miss Tamura. Look, I should shut up. Sorry. Words came out of your mouth before you realized it. You sent a small apologetic look to Miss Tamora. That does remind me of a story. A story? Mr. Cuthbert, do you know the legend about how the kingdom of Wyvern was created? You mean the story about the ancient dragons? Ancient what? Well, everyone knows about the ancient dragon. Wyvern have a story about ancient dragons? It's only about one ancient dragon. The Church of Bahamut refers to him as the Scaled Lord. I'm sure you've even heard people mention him before. Legends say that the first mages were created centuries ago by him. At that time, our kingdom was caught in the middle of a brutal war. With no way to defend themselves, the kingdom was on the brink of destruction. Our people prayed to Bahamut, the god of dragons, for salvation. And almost as if to answer their prayers, Rithalion, the last Scaled Lord, appeared before them. The Scaled Lord bestowed the gift of magic on a band of heroes who were fighting on the front lines. With their magic, these heroes utterly overtook the kingdom's enemies and single-handedly won the war. It's said that these heroes went on to form the noble houses of today. What a load of nonsense. That story is nothing but religious propaganda to prop up the noble houses. Regardless, the significance of this legend is in the Scaled Lord himself. Do you mean Rithalion? Rithalion bestowed the power to become a mage on several individuals. And to this day, the power can only be passed down genetically. Can you think of an arcane spell that can produce something like that? No, I suppose not. Rithalion must have had powers that weren't bound by the rules of the arcane arts. In other words, he could create supernatural phenomena without following the rules of magic. Please, do you honestly expect us to believe a story like that? It's completely unrealistic. As unrealistic as a non-mage using supernatural powers? She has a point. It's a far-fetched theory, but it's honestly the closest thing you have to a lead right now. Of course, it would be you lot making all this noise. Oh, suddenly a woman who appears to be an instructor approaches you. Sheesh. Running out of female voices. Okay, she looks upon each of you with an equal amount of disdain. Professor Bellwether. Catherine Bellwether. Occupation, professor. That is Professor Bellwether to you. But didn't he just call you? I knew letting you rabble into our walls would lead to nothing but trouble. You've even started associating with our malcontents. The headmaster gave us express permission to be here. If you have an issue with that, take it up with him. Huh. I'll have you know that I was on my way to do just that. Wallace? Yes? How am I supposed to understand you when you're stuttering? Yes, Professor Bellwether. Straighten out your uniform and fix that awful hair. You look like a street urchin. But I suppose it's unreasonable to expect anything more. And as for you, Heir, I'll be on my way. You saw that too, Celeste? What a bitch. Fair enough. Celeste. Oh, come on, we were all thinking it. Anyways, with that out of the way, shall we begin? What? Why do you keep detecting fear from Celeste? Wallace, you've finished this week's assignment, haven't you? Would you mind helping Celeste with her research? I don't know. Now you mentioned, I could really use some help finding a specific spell formula. You know you were around here, right, Wallace? Okay. Don't worry, Miss Tamora. I'll be more careful from now on. Please do. I still have some business to take care of here, so I'll leave you all to it. You spend the next few hours searching through the library's books with Eris. You hadn't thought to look into the ancient dragons, and the library had books about them in abundance. There was one problem, though. There are a lot of myths and stories about the ancient dragons. But it's pretty difficult to tell fact from fiction with these accounts. It can't be helped. The Church of Bahamut is the dominant religion of our kingdom. We have the bones of dragons displayed in museums, but those bones are the only widely known evidence of the dragon's existence. Except for Rathalion, possibly. And if he's still alive, like you said. I wouldn't be surprised. Despite everything, our kingdom's constitution still includes him in our governments. Wait, really? As the savior of our kingdom, he and his kin were given an honorary position on our political hierarchy. The ancient dragon's authority technically rivals that of King Oliver. Wow, I had no idea. How have I never heard of this before? Like, you'd think as a lawyer I should be fairly familiar with the legal structure of the kingdom. To be honest, that law is just a way to revere him and appease the church. Well, Rathalion couldn't possibly be any worse than the nobility. Ow! You're so stuck in your own thoughts that you accidentally bump into a bookshelf. The shelf begins to tip over, and you're able to catch it before it fully falls over. But not before several books fall out from their shelves. They hit the ground with a cacophony of thuds. Some students glance in your direction. Be quiet! Sorry. Be quiet. Eris begins giggling. She seems amused by what's happening. Celeste stares at the pile of fallen books. What did you do? Forget that. Just help me clean this up. There's no need for that. Construct, I require assistance. Acknowledged. Oh, what? Upon Eris's command, one of the nearby suits of armor suddenly springs to life and begins walking towards you. The voice coming out of it sounds human, but it lacks emotion. Why does it sound familiar? Wait, did you do that, Eris?
Yes, this is an arcane construct. It's a suit of armor that's animated using artificery. They're designed to carry out various tasks for the students.
Arcane constructs has been added to your notes. Suits of armor that are animated. Okay. They can carry out simple tasks when ordered to. The ones in the Imperial Academy. So they speak using the voice of Catherine Bellwether. These voice lines can only be changed or adjusted by the Academy headmaster. Every command given to a construct is stored in its command log. However, this command log must be cleared regularly. Okay.
Really, I didn't know anything like that existed. They're still experimental, so they aren't available to the public yet. With that being said, construct, please place these books back where they belong.
Acknowledged. On Eris's command, the construct begins quickly picking up the books. It moves with inhuman efficiency. After only a few seconds, all of the books are back on their shelves.
Wow, so they do whatever you tell them to. Well, there are some limits to... Construct, tell me that I'm the fairest maiden you've ever seen.
Command rejected.
Oh, what?
I guess they're not allowed to lie. You feel a sharp pain in your side as Celeste quickly jabs you.
The construct's voice is just a series of pre-recorded messages. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but it uses the voice of Professor Bellwether. Unfortunately, you can't make them say anything other than what's recorded. Only the headmaster can change those settings.
Artificery that can record audio. I've never seen anything like it.
You just said that they're experimental, right? Maybe if I keep asking it, it'll just give up and do it. I would advise against that. Even if the commands are rejected, they're still stored in the construct's command logs. Anyways, we should probably get back to work.
Fine. You read more about the ancient dragons. But most of the stories read more like fables than actual historical accounts. I don't feel like I'm making any progress. Suddenly, you hear a thunderously low-pitched sound blare across the room. It sounds like a high-pitched horn, but with its volume turned up to unnatural levels. What? Celeste, do you hear that?
How can I not? What is that?
You didn't touch anything you weren't supposed to, right?
What? Of course not! It finally stopped.
Eris, wasn't that the lockdown system?
Yes, I believe so.
Lockdown system?
The Academy is outfitted with a large artificery system. In a state of emergency, it will erect magical barriers throughout the building.
State of emergency?
Should we be worried? Don't worry. The lockdown is designed to keep everyone safe. We're safe as long as the barriers are up.
But Miss Demora, she said she was going to do something on campus. I'm terribly sorry. You suddenly hear a disembodied voice echo through the library. It sounds like it's being projected magically. It's the headmaster. He's using the intercom system. Students and faculty, please remain calm. There's Been a murder on the academy grounds. I'm supposed to stay calm, what? What? Please stay where you are and wait for law enforcement to arrive. Damn it, we have to get out of here.
I'm afraid that's not possible. The lockdown system detects and locks each room. We can't leave this room until it's deactivated.
Well, no, until we try. We run to the entrance and begin frantically pulling on the door's handle. You try to put all your strength into prying it open, but it doesn't budge. Tyrion, stop! Oh, Celeste. Never seen that look before, I don't think. But Miss Tamora!
I know that you're worried about her, but there's already been a murder. You don't know where the attacker is or if they're still armed. The best thing we can do right now is stay here and wait.
Okay, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. She's right. Damn it! Murder, that's not good. Yeah, I'd say so. But quit glaring at me like that, okay? I'm here, I'm staying safe. Celeste's hand rests on her sword. Her eyes are carefully watching the entrance. Wow, we've been here for hours and she still hasn't stopped watching the door. She was also able to calm you down earlier. It's easy to forget sometimes, but she's always reliable when it really counts.
What?
Students and faculty, thank you for your patience. Law enforcement has secured the building. Lockdown has been lifted, however, please remain in the building until... That master's barely finished with his message before you're out the door. Tyrion! Hey, don't go off on your own! You desperately run through the academy hallways. No. Miss Tamora! Miss Tamora, where are you? You have no idea where you're even going anymore. You can feel your fear and anxiety rise with every passing moment. Where is she?
Cuthbert! What's wrong? Why are you shouting?
Miss Tamora!
Calm down, you're hyperventilating.
I heard there was a murder and... I've been looking all over for you.
And you were worried about me?
I just... You hug Mr. Moore tightly as you're overcome with emotion. She's usually not receptive to affection, but you don't care. You're just relieved that she's safe.
Tyrion, there you are. And you're crying? Sorry, I didn't mean to worry you so much. We heard the announcement. Do you know what happened, Ruby? I do, but...
You see Mr. Moore glance at Wallace for a brief moment.
For now, I think we should head to the foyer.
You arrive at the foyer and see the room swarmed with a legion of familiar knights. Is that the Inquisition? Don't tell me.
The headmaster mentioned that there was a murder on campus. Someone used magic?
Hey, you there! As you enter the foyer, Commander White notices you and begins marching in your direction. But his attention isn't focused on you. Huh? Are you Wallace Nightgrave?
Yes, but...
By the authority of the Wyvern Guard Crown, I'm placing you under arrest. But we were with him the whole time. He couldn't have murdered. Hey, what are you doing? You three. The hell are you doing here? You said he was under arrest? On what charges? This kid is charged with the murder of Catherine Bellwether. What? Wasn't that the professor you met in the library earlier?
Like hell you're arresting him. He was with us in the library for the entire morning. There's no way he could have murdered her. Move aside, Celeste.
But... Mr. Moore is right. If Wallace is a suspect, you can't stop the Inquisition from arresting him.
Oh.
Don't worry, Wallace. We'll get to the bottom of what happened. Without a word, Wallace allows the Inquisition to drag him away.
Apologies. I'm going to go check on him. This is terrible.
I still don't understand. Why would they suspect Wallace of all people?
I'm not sure myself. Unlike most magical homicides, this school is filled with plenty of mages. There has to be a long list of suspects. Is there anything we can do?
I'm gonna go investigate what happened.
Cuthbert?
Yes?
He hasn't accepted you as his attorney yet. He don't even know if you'll be working this case.
But I know that he's innocent. You just can't sit here and do nothing.
Well, I'll clearly can't stop you. But please remember that being an attorney is your job. It's not charity work.
Ever heard of pro bono attorney work? That's what we're doing.
Don't come crying to me if you run out of gold.
Right.
Anyway, I still have some business to take care of in the city. You two be okay handling this?
Yes, we'll take care of this.
Good. I'll leave everything to you then.
Alright, let's go, Celeste.
Right.
I guess we can save, yeah? It's been a few hours since Wallace was arrested. You and Celeste were with him during the lockdown, so the Inquisition had to take your statements. But the more they questioned you, the more you could tell they had doubts about your testimony. You'll need to do more if you want to establish an alibi for Wallace.
That took longer than I expected.
You've already lost a lot of time talking to the Inquisition. But we should be free to roam around now.
Where should we go first?
The crime scene sounds like a good start. We still need to figure out what actually happened.
Ruby said that the body was found in Lecture Hall 2B. It's in the west wing of the school.
Alright, that seems like a good place to start.
I hope Wallace is okay. He looked really scared when Commander White arrested him.
Don't worry, we'll find out what really happened. But first, you need to inspect the crime scene.
Where should we go next?
First thing we need to do is find out exactly what happened. Mr. Moore said that the body was found in Lecture Hall 2B. We should start our investigation there. Alright. 2B it is. Hey, stop right there! As you try to enter the classroom, you're stopped by one of the Inquisition Knights. I'm the defense attorney for the accused. We have a right to investigate the crime scene. Yeah, from what I've heard, the kid doesn't have an attorney yet. Right, you haven't been able to talk to us about that yet.
It's quite alright, let them in.
Lady Steelwind!
Do not call me that.
What's wrong with that?
While you work under me, you will address me as Prosecutor Steelwind.
Yes, Prosecutor Steelwind.
Oh, what's that smell?
As you enter the classroom, you find yourself inhaling a sour and rancid odor. The stench is so overwhelming that your eyes begin to tear up.
Don't worry. You eventually get used to the smell.
What are you even doing here, Steelwind?
I'm here to coordinate the investigation.
You look around the crime scene. There isn't a single Inquisition Knight in the room. Isn't that the Inquisition's job?
Due to the circumstances, I've decided to handle this case personally.
Well, since we got you here, could we ask you some questions about what happened?
Can I assume that you are planning to defend this case? That would make you my opponent, What do I have to gain from helping you?
Well, I mean, there's this thing called, what's it called? It's evidence that's favorable to the other side. Ah, man. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's not circumstantial. It sounds similar, though. It'll come to me in, like, a minute. Right.
However, I would be willing to answer your questions. But only if you answer some of mine as well.
Fair enough. I mean, I am a direct witness in this case. Okay. What could she possibly want to ask you? Hi, I've got, just to be clear, I'm licensed to practice law here. What do you think about this, Miss Steelwind?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I cannot say much about that.
Exculpatory evidence, that's what it is. Evidence that's beneficial to the other side. So what do you have to say?
As Miss McCoy, it's my understanding that you were adopted? Or, Miss McCoy, it's my understanding that you were adopted. Would you happen to know who your birth parents are?
Yeah, hey, isn't that too personal of a question?
You agreed to answer my questions, didn't you?
But I didn't think you meant...
It's fine, Tyrion. Fine with answering if it helps Wallace.
She wasn't actually fine with answering.
I don't know who my birth parents are. I've never tried looking for them. I see.
Okay. Wild prediction, calling it right now. They're sisters. Long lost sisters.
If I recall correctly, your spell compendium only contained one spell. Considering your upbringing, how did you learn Mage Blade in the first place?
I bought a scroll from a merchant a few years ago. It had Mage Blade spell formula on it. But I know more than one spell now. I actually learned just a few new spells today.
I'm sorry, spells? As in plural? How long did it take you to learn these spells?
A few hours, I think.
She learned multiple spell formulas within a few hours?
What was that just now?
I see. Well, I think that is all I need to ask for now.
Okay. She's sharing information about the investigation for that? Why is she so interested in Celeste all of a sudden? Okay, well now it's my turn. What's this smell? I can't take it anymore. It smells driving me crazy. What is that?
From what I understand, there was a bit of an accident a few days ago. It happened during one of the classes that the headmaster was teaching. He misread the instructions for an alchemy experiment, and as a result he accidentally produced this rancid-smelling vapor.
Vapor? It's not poisonous, is it?
Of course not. I wouldn't be standing here if it was. It's just extremely unpleasant to the senses.
Okay, foul classroom smell has been added to the notes. Interesting. What do you know about the murder so far? Do you know what happened here, Steelwind?
Well, it all began when the City Watch received a call from the Academy. Supposedly there was an attack on the campus grounds, and the entire building was put on lockdown. The city was set up as a perimeter around the building, where they waited for the system to deactivate.
What? Couldn't the Academy have let them in once the scene was secure?
I'm not sure about the specifics, but supposedly the lockdown can't be shut down manually.
What does shut it down, then?
You have to ask one of the Academy's admins if you want to know more. Anyways, you two were present during the lockdown, am I correct? Did either of you see anything suspicious?
No, but we actually met the professor that morning.
She was still alive then. I see. That does match with the accounts from our other witnesses. Do you have any idea where she went after she left the library? The headmaster gave us express permission to be here. If you have an issue with that, then take it up with him.
Oh, I'll have you know that I was on my way to do just that. She said that she was going to meet with the headmaster.
He also mentioned that when I questioned him. She attended the meeting as planned.
If the headmaster met with Bellwether, you'll probably want to speak with him next.
She must have found her way into the classroom afterwards.
Would you happen to have a map of the academy?
I do. I have extra copies if you would like one.
So we're in what? We're in Lecture Hall 2B.
What is it?
There's only one direct path from the headmaster's office to this lecture hall. But I wonder if she took any detours. Imperial Academy map has been added to your notes. Anything else? Like, we got some other things. I'm gonna do some examinations first.
Oh, Tyrion, I almost forgot. Since this is our first official case together, I wanted to show you something that I learned.
Okay. What is it?
Arcanum.
What's this? What was that?
That's the incantation for the detect magic spell.
Detect magic? Wait, does that mean?
Yep, we can see magical traces while we're examining crime scenes now.
Oh, awesome. Your bodyguard Celeste can now cast the detect magic spell. While examining a location, press the detect magic button to make magical traces visible. If there are any magical traces at your location, you'll see a colored overlay. Nice. Well, we'll start with just the basic observation.
I can't believe the professor is dead. We just saw her this morning.
There's a chalk outline right where her body was. It appears that most of this blood came from her abdomen. Is that where the fatal wound was? There's a lot of blood in this puddle, but there's no trail leading to it. There aren't any magical traces anywhere else in the room. I doubt the murderer used magic to clean it.
Does that mean that the murderer attacked her in this room?
Maybe, but it's hard to say for certain. Bloodstain under the body has been added to your notes. Okay. It's a painting of some sort of musician. There's some text written below it. Dr. Nicholas Gassou, inventor of the Arcane engine. His work revolutionized trade and travel across the seas. He was well known for not discriminating between the common folk and the nobility, judging his assistants based purely on their merits. When he wasn't conducting research within the Imperial Academy, he was known to compose symphonies for the king in his free time. Looks like he was a man of many talents. Not terribly relevant, but okay. This will see where the students sit during lectures.
I can't imagine sitting in one place all day.
Have you never attended a school before?
No, we never had a proper school in Cornhaven. I only got my education from books that my parents brought from traveling merchants. What about you?
I used to attend a public school in my hometown. Then I went to college, then law school. But after Mr. Tamora adopted me, she handled my education personally, so never mind, I never went to law school. I'm a self-taught lawyer. Boom. Now, that may scare you, but need I remind you, Abraham Lincoln was a self-taught lawyer. So, if anything, I don't want a lawyer that went to Yale or Harvard or whatever. I want a lawyer that taught himself, that literally hit the books and passed the bar on his own merits through his own personal study. Might be cheaper too, don't have all of the student loans to pay back. And what happened to him? Well, I don't think that was related to the way in which he, studied law. The lecture hall has a window through. And also, I mean, I know it's not too soon, but too soon, man, too soon.
I feel like I'd just stare out all day if I had to attend class here.
You're not much of a student, are you?
I just can't spend hours sitting in one place. I need to move around.
She was pretty antsy while you were studying in the library earlier.
How have you learned so many spells if you are so distractible?
Well, actually, see, that's just it. Being so distractible means you want to be able to move on from what you're learning as soon as possible. So you really focus on getting the material in your head so you can stop having to learn it.
Oh no, I just learned the spell for you and cast stuff. I see. Is that not normal?
Oh, what's this?
Oh, they have books here too.
They appear to be textbooks about alchemy.
Oh, lame.
Alchemy's not lame. Well, in the real world it kind of is, but I'm sure in this universe, when it actually is real, then it's probably cool. It's the text of magic.
Arcanum.
Okay.
What?
What's wrong?
There's a trace of necromancy on the body.
What? Necromancy? Okay. It's weird. I'm deciding whether or not it's concerning. Necromancy.
Isn't necromancy the type of magic that creates undead? She's not just gonna get up and walk away, right?
Just to confirm, was the body actually found?
We're honestly not sure. That's part of the reason why I've stationed myself here.
But what does that have to do with Wallace? Only necromancer in the school, I bet.
Oh, you didn't know? Wallace Nightgrave is a necromancer. He's what? We believe that he drained her life force completely using a necromancy spell. And that's why there's no visible wounds. Here's the autopsy report. It will tell you everything that you need to know.
Autopsy report. Catherine Bellwether. Died at 2:01 p.m. Body shows no signs of cuts or bruising. The alchemist report has verified the death was not caused by poison or disease. Body shows traces of necromancy and illusion magic. Cause of death is not apparent, but very likely caused by necromancy magic.
But in the modern day, even the Inquisition doesn't commonly deal with necromancy. It's all on edge about what other spells he might have used. So I'm here to make sure that nothing unholy happens to the body.
You can't believe it. You've heard stories of necromancers before. But why would Wallace be studying something like that? But even if Wallace is a necromancer, aren't there plenty of other mages who can cast necromancy spells? This is an academy for mages, after all.
No, there are no laws against it, but the knowledge required to learn necromancy is heavily controlled.
Can't trust necromancers? Oh, they get a bad rap, that's for sure.
No one in their right mind would dare teach necromancy beyond basic healing magics. Frankly, I'm surprised even one student at this school was allowed to learn it. I can see why. But because of this specific piece of evidence, we know that he is the murderer. But it's still too convenient.
That's the first time you've seen a thought from Steelwind. Normally you can only see thoughts from people who are stressed or excited. You doubt that Miss Steelwind is excited. So is something causing her to be stressed? Is there something you're not telling us, Steelwind? Because something tells me that this case isn't as straightforward as you claim it is.
If you truly believe that, then why don't you prove it?
Yeah, I can't see any more thoughts from her. She must be subconsciously guarding her mind now. But she's clearly hiding something. Okay, we also have this.
There's a trace of illusion magic next to the body. We believe that the suspect donned an illusory disguise immediately after murdering the victim. Using his disguise, he discreetly made his way back to the library unnoticed.
Assuming that Wallace isn't the murderer, the real guy must have used a similar disguise. Which means that no one would have seen them leave this classroom. It'll be hard to find any witnesses that saw the perpetrator. Interesting. So how was the body discovered? Do you know how the body was discovered?
2 members of the kitchen staff spotted her collapsed inside the classroom. They reported the situation to the campus admin while they attempted to save her life. But it was too late. The professor had already passed away by the time any healers had arrived.
Those 2 staff members. Who were they?
I believe their names were Valentina and Valerie Lanus. They're apparently sisters. Autumn was the one who collected their statements.
Did he notice anything off about their behavior?
From what he said, they had a few quirks, but nothing too suspicious.
Quirks. Okay. So they might hear academic characters. Good to know, good to know.
He told me that they were running and spinning around him during questioning.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. Perhaps they were still on edge after finding their coworker murdered.
You'll definitely want to speak with those staff members. Who discovered the body? It was discovered in Lecture Hall 2B by Valentina and Valerie Lanus, 2 members of the kitchen staff. Okay. Interesting. What else? Why is Wallace a suspect? I assume because he's the only necromage in the school. Or necromancer. We've already told the Inquisition this, but Wallace was with us the entire time. He couldn't have committed the murder. Yeah, he has a perfect alibi. There's a student learning necromancy. Is there someone teaching it? It's conceivable the student could have just been self-taught in that particular field, I suppose.
Strong, maybe, but his alibi is far from perfect. Miss McCoy herself told us that there was a small time period when she wasn't with him.
What?
Right, it was when I came to check on you after you knocked over that shelf. Got a little lost on my way back to Wallace. But still, we only lost each other for a few minutes. That may be, but unless his alibi is airtight, the evidence in this room proves that it was him.
What do you mean?
It will be easier to explain or to examine it yourself.
I already did that. I think we got everything.
Prepario Arcanum.
So... Okay, well, thanks. I guess we'll go elsewhere. We should talk to our client, actually make sure we are officially their lawyer. You look around the barracks dungeon cells, but you don't see Wallace anywhere.
The Inquisition's probably still questioning him. We should come back later.
Okay. Okay.
Prepario Arcanum.
No magic. Okay. Let's go to the kitchen. Talk to these strange sisters. Hello? Is anyone there?
Looks like there's no one here right now. Maybe we should check somewhere else.
Okay. Headmaster. You follow the map that Steelwind gave you. And you arrive at the headmaster's office. Oh, hello there. I wasn't expecting guests today. Sorry for coming unannounced. You must be... My name is Theodore Edmund. I'm the headmaster of the Wyvern Guard Imperial Academy. Theodore Edmund. And judging from your appearance, you must be the prodigy of Ruby Timora. To what do I owe the pleasure?
They must be here to investigate the murder.
Wait, Eris? I thought you went to see Wallace.
Unfortunately, the Inquisition is questioning him right now. allowing visitors. He must be so scared right now. Hope he's okay.
Right, she had the same experience not too long ago. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. First, I'd like to examine your office here.
Prepario Arcanum.
No magic, eh? Okay. It's a painting of someone. He looks like some sort of professor. That's Professor Lucas Gilbert. He was an instructor here many decades ago. He was well beloved by the students here, and he was quite the accomplished scholar. That was all despite him lacking the ability to use magic.
Oh, really? He studied magic without actually being able to use it?
Yes, he was quite remarkable. Unfortunately, we lost him to illness very early in his life. It's a painting of a mage, but it doesn't quite look like a noble. Oh, that's Jason Steelwind, one of the chosen mages of the Scaled Lord. Wait,
Wait, Steelwind is in...
Yes, he's the earliest recorded ancestor of House Steelwind. Legends say that the Scaled Lord bestowed his power upon him and his allies to create the first mages.
Wow, it's hard to even tell that he and the prosecutor belong to the same bloodline.
As with all the noble houses, House Steelwind had quite humble beginnings. If only they'd remember where they came from. It's a small table for guests. Is that wine? No, actually, it's just apple juice. Most of my guests are students, after all. Fair. There's a fireplace with some burning wood. Looks pretty cozy. There's a window with a view of a garden. The headmaster has a nice view from up here. Alright, let's talk. So, tell us about this murder. This is terrible. To think that one of my prize students would be accused of murder. We heard your voice on the intercom when the lockdown happened. Are you the one who triggered it? Yes, I activated when I received a call from one of the staff. They reported that Professor Bellwether had been attacked. Okay. Interesting. How does the lockdown system work? It's an artificer network that covers the entire academy. In the event of an emergency, I can activate it using this stone. The headmaster pulls out a glowing stone from his desk. You can hear the hum of magical energy emanating from it. Once activated, the system creates magical barriers throughout the building. It's designed to contain and protect each room in the building. Could a powerful mage breach any of these barriers? I doubt it. The barriers can withstand a great amount of force. They even block mages from teleporting through them. And once activated, even I can't turn it off for an hour. An hour, eh? Interesting. Hold on, wait, let me look at that again. Okay. So tell me about this Wallace fellow. What can you tell about Wallace? Earlier you said that he was one of your prized students. I just need to understand. Why did the prosecutor say that he was a necromancer? Because technically, he is one.
What? But why would he study something like that?
Necromancy is probably the most dangerous and most scrutinized
schools of magic. Its image has been long tainted by stories of dark wizards raising armies of the undead. However, it doesn't just control the forces of death, it also controls the forces of life.
Forces of life?
Truth is that healing magic is also classified as necromancy. Most heroes don't care to admit it because of the stigma it has. But that's why Wallace is studying it. He wants to become a doctor.
But there are plenty of mages who know healing magic. Why is Wallace being singled out?
For years he's been studying necromancy beyond basic healing magic. He believes that high-level necromancy could revolutionize modern medicine. Unfortunately, many among the faculty don't see it that way. Wallace doesn't hail from a noble house. He's a mage that was born among the common folk.
It's like me.
Many of the faculty fear that he'll use his knowledge to raise armies of undead, just like the necromancers of old. The Imperial Academy isn't even permitted to teach it to students beyond basic healing magic.
Then why'd you allow him to study it?
After everything that has happened to him, I made an exception.
Everything that has happened to him?
I'm not at liberty to say more. You have to ask him if you wish to know more.
Can I have his compendium?
If you plan on defending Wallace, you'll need his spell compendium. Am I correct?
Yes, having a client's compendium is instrumental to acquitting them.
You may find that a bit difficult. You see, after a certain incident, he destroyed his compendium.
You can do that? That's an option? What? Why would he do that? Doesn't he need that to use magic?
A spell compendium is a device mages use to keep track of what spells they can cast.
It's really convenient for remembering the formulas and incantations of your spells. But it's not actually required to use magic. I thought of destroying mine a long time ago.
But they're really expensive. Luckily, I have an unattuned spell compendium right here. I'd be more than happy to give it to you if it helps Wallace.
Oh, thanks!
Wallace just needs to maintain physical contact with it for 10 minutes. After that, the compendium will attune to his magic. Just make sure that you don't let another mage like Celeste hold it. Once it attunes to a mage, no one else can use it.
An unattuned spell compendium? Interesting.
Wait, but how did you... Wonderful, I just hope you can persuade Wallace to attune it to its...
What should I know about Catherine? What can you tell me about Catherine Bellwether? Ooh, that's very mixed emotions. None positive! Wow, that is a whole mess of emotions.
She was a rather unpleasant to work with.
Can you think of any enemies she might have had?
Yeah, just list everyone who attended this school.
Yes.
It's best to be blunt with these sorts of things. As you saw this morning, she had a pretty abrasive attitude toward the students. Many people in the school did not care for her. Maybe
she wasn't the nicest person. Would that really be enough to motivate someone to murder her?
She'd often target and harass students, especially those who are from the common folk. She even made a habit of expelling those students for minor infractions. For commoners, magic can be our ticket out of poverty. Can't imagine how it'd feel to have that opportunity unfairly taken from you. She put so much pressure on those students. Some of them even left the academy of their own volition. They couldn't handle her constant verbal abuse. Even then, would that really be enough to motive to commit murder? The human psyche is a fragile thing. It's astounding what someone might do when pushed far enough.
What about her relationship with the faculty?
In some cases, it was worse than it was with the students. She'd often treat the staff like her personal servants. I've received many complaints from them about her behavior.
It certainly sounds rude, but why didn't you just fire her if she was such a big problem?
She used her position to curry favor with the noble houses over the years. As you can imagine, the Academy's board is controlled by the nobility. If I ever tried to remove her, they would probably support her over me.
Okay, so no one liked her. Good to know. Anything else? The meeting, you met with her, how'd that go? I already had a meeting scheduled with Professor Bellwether this morning. What time was this, and when did the meeting end?
Our meeting was scheduled for noon. She arrived on time, and our meeting lasted until 1 p.m.
Did anything seem off about her to you?
No, she seemed to be her usual self.
Which is a pretty scary usual self. You detect a trace of fear, or is it nervousness? If you don't mind me asking, what was the purpose of your meeting?
We met to discuss routine administrative matters. Despite our personal disagreements, we knew to stay civil when discussing professional affairs. But to be perfectly honest, it did always feel like I was treading on eggshells and speaking with her.
But you were her superior, weren't you? Didn't she respect your authority?
We had many arguments at how I was managing the academy. And she was very vocal about her distaste for the common folk students. She was difficult to say the least.
Okay, well, thank you for your assistance. I'll go see if the kitchen folk are in. Hello, is anyone there? Be right there! Sorry, but the cafeteria is closed right now. Actually, we're here to investigate the murder. We heard that 2 members of the kitchen staff discovered the body. Oh, that would be me. I'm Valentina Lannis. Alright, no, that's gotta be a capital I, right? So it's gotta be Iannis. I'm Valentina Iannis. How'd the other person? Do you know where they are right now? Oh, that'd be my sister Valerie. I think she's somewhere else on campus right now. If you're with those knights, we've already told them everything we know. Actually, we're investigating separately from them. I had to ask you some questions after what you saw. Sure. I'm gonna have to remember those details again. Okay. So, what did you see? To start, can you tell us how you and your sister discovered the body? Right. My sister and I were walking in the hallway from the kitchen to the west exit. We saw the professor in the nearby classroom. She was lying on the floor and bleeding. There's an emergency communication device to call for help. While I was doing that, my sister tried to wake her up. That would imply that Valerie thought she could be resuscitated? Did you know if the professor was still alive or not? We're not sure, but she wasn't responding at all. She wasn't breathing, and she didn't have a pulse. What's your opinion on her? What can you tell about Catherine Bellwether? Yet another set of complicated emotions.
Well, I guess I wasn't hiding it anymore. She was a horrible person. She was really terrible to all of us.
But by all of us, do you mean the Academy staff?
Yeah, she always treated us like her personal servants. Sometimes she'd make messes on purpose just so she could order us to clean it up. Probably sounds terrible, but I'm sure a lot of people are glad she's gone. I just hope we can still keep our jobs.
Interesting. Now, why would she be worried about that? Yeah. Why would us professor no longer being at the Academy, even through such unfortunate circumstances, have any bearing on you getting to keep your job or not? Are you concerned about getting fired? Are you not doing well? Have you not hit your metrics? Did you ever feel like your job was at risk because of Bellwether?
Yeah, actually. She was actually planning to fire all of the staff.
What? How? Under what authority? How did she think the place would run after that? All of the staff. That can't be true, can it? The Academy needs the staff to function.
I'm not sure about the details. That's just what Jan told us.
Who's Jan? Yeah, who's Jan?
You know, the Academy's custodians. You can probably find them cleaning the halls if you look around.
Okay. Well, that's certainly a motive. What do you know about the suspect in this case? His name is Wallace Nightgrave. He's a student here.
He's that scary kid, right? The one that raises undead?
Those are just rumors. We'd never do something like that.
But he said necromancy, right?
Have you ever actually met him?
No, but I've heard the rumors. He's always hanging around in the cemetery. I'm sure he's just biding his time, waiting for his chance to raise an army.
It can't be helped that people think of him in that way. But you can't help but be a little annoyed on his behalf. Well, that is a productive entry. I guess we can examine. So, this room was close to the crime scene. Could you cast Detect Magic and scan for magical traces?
Sure. Did he just say to scan for magical traces? Oh, I'll just get out of your way then.
Wow, she just bolted out of the room. What is that about?
Repario Arcanum.
Nothing. It's a set of pots for cooking soups and the like. There's a rack of cooking implements hanging from the wall.
Valentina must use these to cook for the students.
Oh, it's a plate of bread. They probably serve these as sides to the entrees.
Don't get any ideas, Tyrion.
What?
Remember we went to that fancy restaurant? You just kept ordering breadsticks and butter.
The bread is free! I might as well take advantage of it! Yeah, see, that's the way you do it. You like go to like, I don't know, Olive Garden or a Mexican restaurant or something. You buy your meal, you just eat. You just eat the complimentary chips or breadsticks or whatever. And then you just take your whole meal to go. There you go, 2 meals for the price of 1. Granted, if you're cheaping out on measles, why are you going to a restaurant in the first place? But, whatever.
You know, eating that many carbs isn't good for you.
Yeah. It's a barrel full of some sort of drink.
I wonder.
It's probably not lotus juice, Celeste. Several commonly used ingredients are close to the cooking area. I guess that makes sense. There's a large cooking station here. They must prepare the meals in bulk here. Yeah, Olive Garden's breadsticks are pretty good. We'll agree on that. There's a large sack of produce in the corner.
There's some wine here too.
That must be for the professors. I feel like our Olive Garden doesn't get the credit it deserves, right? I feel like it gets lumped in the same sort of restaurant categories like an Applebee's or something. But I think it's a more quality experience. You know, you got, you know, obviously their like breadsticks are good. And as I recall, I mean, they got some good soups, some good pastas. Very carb-heavy meal, probably, unless you're getting like a salad or something. But you know, it's pretty good. Like it tastes good. It's, you know, good portions for sure. Like I think it should. I know it's in the same like class of restaurants as that, but like I feel like it's a step above. I'm gonna serve the students meals on these plates. It's a shame that they had to close the kitchen due to the investigation. Okay, let's go to the hallway. You spot Valentina again. She's speaking to someone in a blue-collar uniform. Could he be the custodian that she mentioned? Jan, where have you been? We still haven't fixed the plumbing in the kitchen sinks. Someone just died. Can we take the day off for once? You're causing trouble for me and Valentina. Please be reasonable. Wait, why is Valentina suddenly speaking in the third person? Oh, this is the other twin, I guess. Oh, hello? Valentina? Oh, my apologies, I can see why you're confused. I'm not Valentina, I'm her sister Valerie. Alright, Valerie on us. Are you trying to trick us or something? You look exactly the same. You ever reading about something like this before? You two are identical twins, aren't you? You're both genetically identical to each other? Yes, we are. You know, come to think of it, identical twins are something real weird. Like, not that they aren't weird right now, but that's something real weird. Back in the day, before we understood genetics, and how exactly identical twins happen. Like, I mean, just imagine that. You're like, I don't know, some woman in like 12th century Germany or something. You pop out a pair of kids, which is, you know, annoying enough in and of itself, 2 kids at once, and then, you know, you notice like, I don't know, 5, 6 years later or something, you know, when they start look, because I mean, all babies kind of look similar anyway. But you know, as they grow up, you're like, wait a minute, these are 2 of the same person. How'd that happen? Why does that just happen sometimes? And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you can even get a boy and a girl, which is definitely not identical twins. Yeah, I'd be curious if there were any. Like, it's a common enough thing that people would be like aware of it. I just wonder, like, how did the ancient or like medieval or classical minds, like, what was their explanation for it? And I guess it could have just been, oh, well, I guess this happens sometimes, but that's the boring explanation. I want to hear an explanation that, like, you know, sometimes, like, Zeus comes in and decides to copy your baby, I guess. I don't know. Wait, this means that she was the one who discovered the body alongside Valentina. Since we have here, do you mind if I ask you some questions about what happened? I'm terribly sorry. I've already spent a lot of time looking for Dan here. I'm really behind on work. But Jen was also nearby when we discovered the body. I'm sure he can answer your questions. Before you have a chance to object, Valerie quickly walks away. There's something off about these twins. I feel like they're too suspicious to be the murderer. But they're hiding something for sure. Well, wait! Do you want to go after her? Pretty sure I can catch up to her. No, you don't want to scare those two more than we already have. Anyway, Valerie said that Jan was around when the murder happened. Maybe he saw something. Probably something mythology related for an explanation. I suppose so. I want to know what though, specifically. Jan, was it? Do you mind if we ask you some questions on what happened?
Really? Whatever. At least I have an excuse to take a break now.
Prepario Arcanum.
It's the entrance to the lecture hall. The door says that it's lecture hall 2F. Alright, that's 2B. His magic is making his eyebrows look like eyes. I'll have to look at the spread again. It's the entrance to lecture hall 2D. Let me guess. 2G? 2H, dang it. So, Jan, are you a part of the staff here?
Yep, I'm a janitor. I clean and I do my jobs here and there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Jedi Steve. Well, apparently that's all he has to say about that. Maybe they force-tied something? Possibly. Valerie mentioned that you were close to Lecture Hall 2B before they found found Bellwether. What are you doing when the twins discovered the body?
I was cleaning the halls. Bellwether knocked out over a vase, and there were shards of dirt everywhere.
Wait, you saw the professor before the twins arrived?
Yeah, like I said, she broke the vase right in the hallway. Yeah, so I told her I saw the twins on the body.
You might have been the last person to see her alive. Did you see where she went after breaking the vase?
Yeah, I think she went to the room over there.
Jan points to the lecture hall that Bellwether was found in. Did you see anyone else enter the lecture hall?
I'm honestly not sure. I was worried I'd clean up the mess she made.
Well, did you notice anything off about her?
She was in a pretty bad mood. But honestly, it's pretty normal for her. She was looking real slow. I noticed her there at first, and she basically shoved me out of the way. After that, she not gave me the vase. I didn't say anything after that, but she still yelled at me to be quiet.
Did you see where she went after that?
Not really, the only thing in that direction is like an LTB. I got nothing to go anywhere else.
Jan saved him as an added to your notes. So 30 minutes before the Giannis twins found the body, Bellwether walked past Jan in the West Wing hallway. He was in her path, so she shoved him out of her way. After that, she knocked over a vase and shattered it. Even though Jan didn't say anything to her, she yelled at him to be quiet. After this interaction, she walked into Lecture Hall 2B. You're good at mimicking his bored / tired voice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hope it's not too, undecipherable on the stream. What can you tell me about Catherine Bellwether? I've heard that she had a pretty bad relationship with the staff.
Yeah, she had a bad relationship with just not everyone. Students, all the teachers, kind of think of people who actually did go along with her.
I'm sure you had your own share of bad experiences with her.
Yeah, she always told me when I was taking too long to get a job done. I'm sad, but things are a lot more peaceful around here without her.
That's blunt to say the least. But you can't exactly blame him for thinking that. It seems to be actually a unanimous opinion. You know, maybe I'm not sure if this is a defense that actually works, legally speaking, but perhaps we can present a motion to dismiss the case on the grounds that even if my client is guilty, he made the world a better place. Right? Were people supposed to be fired? Valentina mentioned something interesting. Did you tell her that Bellwether was going to fire the academy staff? Your Honor, the victim had it coming. That's right! What did you think that she was going to do something like that? Those arcane contracts and library. That's on the door to them. Oh yeah, they're so cool. A few weeks ago, I overheard a meeting she was having with the headmaster. But I heard she was sending to more contracts and how to replace the staff.
Oh.
Man, I'd not expect to get social commentary about automation and the elimination of jobs thanks to AI in my funny little anime fantasy murder mystery game. But here we are. Well, I'm sure the headmaster rejected her proposal. She's not gonna sound like he didn't have a say in the matter. But only the headmaster would have the authority to fire the staff. Why would she be that confident? All I know is that she hated having conflict in the schools. Healing staff. She has heard after that she was hiring conflict from the community center. Supposedly Bellwether told the headmaster that she was planning to fire all of the academy staff and replace them with arcane constructs. This plan was overheard by Jan Hughes a few weeks ago. A few weeks likely is enough time to plan a murder. Well, thank you for your time, sir. Although I would like to present you with... Is this what you thought would take your job? I just thought we don't do the job, those kind of sucks. Well, if there's any silver lining to Bellwether's death, that she can't carry out her plan. Oh, that's kind of heartless, man. Well, I do want to catch the real murderer. I don't have much pity for people who abuse positions of power. Okay, I'm sure people feel the same way. I think that you had a coming defense is worth looking into. Okay, so we talked about, let's go back to the kitchen. See if we can hunt down these twins. We can't. Okay, we're going to visit my client, who isn't technically my client yet. It's over. My life's over. Wallace. Who are you? What do you want?
Wallace, it's Celeste and Tyrion. From the library, remember?
Right.
How are you doing?
Apparently not well. Please tell me you're gonna get me out of here. I keep telling them I didn't do it. They still won't let me go. I'm sorry, Wallace. But they found traces of necromancy magic on the body. And because of that, they're going to push your case to trial. Now, here's a question I actually have in my mind right now. My mind's brain. So we established earlier that so there's necromancy magic on the body, which is fine. Well, it's not fine because it implicates our client. But we also established, didn't we, that healing magic is apparently a subcategory of necromancy magic. So is it conceivable that someone could have been trying to heal her, but then that would show up after the fact as necromancy magic? Because it's in the same family. It's in the, because healing is a subcategory of necromancy. in this universe. I don't know. Just a thought. Anyways, and because of that, they're going to push your case to trial.
What? They're gonna execute me? This can't be happening. I can feel these walls closing in. I can't breathe.
Please calm down. We know that you're innocent. With that said, would you let me represent you in court?
Oh, right, you said you were a lawyer. But I don't really have any money to pay you with.
Pro bono work. Don't worry, I'm mandated to do a certain amount of it annually anyway. Don't worry about that. For now, let's just focus on getting you acquitted.
What? Do they seriously want to help me? No, they want something from me, but... Well, I guess it doesn't matter anyway. It's not like I have anything else to lose.
That's not exactly the reaction you were expecting. But at least he's cooperating. So... let's talk about your alibi.
I don't understand. I was with you in the library the entire time. But why do they think I'm the murderer? It makes no sense. Unless... You told the Inquisition, right? Did you tell them that I'm innocent? Did they frame me?
We did, but as we said before, there are traces of necromancy on the body. And with the state of the body, they believe that she was murdered with a necromancy spell. Apparently that makes you their prime suspect.
I see.
Wallace, we heard about the type of magic that you're studying.
So don't worry. Headmaster explained it to us already. You just want to use necromancy to become a doctor, right?
I understand that you have reservations about talking about your magic. But in order to build a case for you, I need your spell compendium.
I don't have one.
I know. Harris already told us about that. That's why she gave us a blank one for you to attune to.
Do I have to?
It's your life on the line. Look, man. Yes, you do. And we need all the information we can get to help you. If you're really innocent, then more information shouldn't hurt you.
Sorry, right, I'll attune to it.
10 minutes later. Wallace Nightgare's spell compendium. It contains the formulas for the following spells. It's not predigestion, right? Predigitation? Mend wounds, illusory disguise, revive, animate corpse, and necrotic blights. A joyful array of spells, surely. Alright, predigitation. The caster creates a simple and harmless visual effect around their hand. This effect will last as long as they maintain concentration on the spell. Mend wounds. Heals the wounds of the target over the casting time. Wounds on the target are magically healed without leaving any scars or bruises. This spell can't restore missing limbs, nor can it revive someone who has already died. Alright, it's in the School of Necromancy. Okay, here's what's happened. I've already got a case built out here. Someone killed, I don't know who yet. That's kind of an important fact. But someone killed the victim. Then used mend wounds on the body, which would not only hide the actual method of death, right? The cause of death, because it would heal whatever wounds caused the death in the first place. But also, since it's in the School of Necromancy, it would frame the one necromancer in the school for the murder. Illusory disguise places an illusion on the target to completely change their visual appearance. The disguise moves with the target for the duration. The disguise can make the target look 1 foot larger or smaller, Elements hidden by the spell are made invisible, and elements created by the spell are purely visual. You cannot make physical contact with it. Okay. Revive. Floods the target with life energy in an attempt to resurrect them, or resuscitate them. It does not heal wounds sustained. Results may vary, but it cannot resuscitate someone who has been dead for more than a minute. Okay. So it's CPR. Magic CPR. Animate corpse. Reanimates the target using life energy, creating an undead minion for the duration. The minion follows the caster's orders, but its intelligence is limited and it cannot speak. The minion can end the spell prematurely, but will only do so if ordered to by the caster. Once the spell is ended, the undead will return to being a dead body. Necrotic Blight. Pulls all of the life energy from the target, resulting in an instant death. The spell does not wound the target, nor does it leave any physical evidence, but it still leaves a magical trace. Right, yeah, okay. I just realized too, there was blood at the scene. If Necrotic Blight was the spell that was used to murder the victim, why would there be blood? Necrotic Blight does not cause wounds. Therefore, she had to be wounded by something else previously, and then healed using mend wounds. So now, in order to find a murder, we just need to figure out who in the school knows mend wounds, and that's our murderer. Simple as that. You understand the reason why he's studying this type of magic. But the spells in his compendium are still pretty gruesome. It's a little terrifying that spells like this even exist. Sorry, I know it's been difficult. A long time ago, I showed my compendium to someone I trusted. After she saw my necromancy spell, she pulled everyone in the academy. That's also when Professor Bellwether started coming after me. I'm sorry, that must have been hard for you. But at least you had Eris. Yeah, I did. Okay. What was your relationship like with Catherine? Do you have motive to kill her? I think I can already guess the answer to this question. But how was your relationship with Catherine Bellwether? It was exactly what you'd expect. After word got out about what I was studying, Professor Bellwether would always target me. She'd start yelling at me for the smallest mistakes. She'd do that to some other students too, but she'd focus on the ones that were poor like me. That's terrible.
I'd wake up each day dreading the possibility that she'd notice me in the hallways. You know, to avoid her and stay out of her way. But sometimes she'd just come looking for me. Can't believe that everything she did, she's just gone. Must have mixed emotions about what happened. I honestly don't know how I feel about it. To be honest, I always wished she would just disappear. Now this finally happens, I just feel even more afraid. Feels like she's gonna come back from the grave to haunt me. Even with Bellwether gone, his trauma will still probably linger. Let's talk about your relationship with Eris. What are you two to each other? How did Eris and Eris become friends anyways? Another hint of fear from her. Why? Are her fears related to Eris? I mean, Eris is a little creepy, I guess, but... And being creepy isn't a crime. Oh, it's a bit of a strange story. Sometimes other students would steal their ID number off my locker. Then they'd switch it with one on another locker. I thought it was funny whenever the owner got angry with me. Eris had a bit of a reputation around school. I'm not sure why, but everyone was scared of her, even the students and the nobility. It's probably due to some baseless rumors. Celeste, what aren't you telling me at Eris? One day, someone switched my nameplate with hers. I was so scared when she approached me, I couldn't even say anything. But she didn't get angry like the others. She just apologized and gave me back my nameplate. After that, she randomly started talking to me whenever she saw me. We became friends after that.
That's nice. It's a good thing he was able to find a friend in a place like this. So, you're a necromancer. How's that? So, I have to ask. If it's caused you so much trouble, why are you still studying necromancy?
How to use it to become a doctor.
The headmaster told us the same thing. But you could have just stopped after learning the healing spells. Why are you learning spells that can steal people's life force and raise undead?
Life and death are two sides of the same coin. That's the key principle behind necromancy. First undead was actually a failed attempt to resurrect a human using magic.
Wow, I never knew that.
Right now, basic necromancy can only heal injuries and wounds. They can't do anything for diseases or deformities. If I could just keep studying, I know that I could create a new type of necromancy. One that can cure diseases, save lives.
He specifically wants to cure diseases. Did something happen to him to motivate him that much? I think I'm starting to put things together now. Have you figured something out? Yeah, I just need to take some time to think through everything. The prosecution wants to implicate Wallace despite his alibi. They wouldn't have a reason to do this unless the evidence heavily implicated him. How does the evidence implicate Wallace? We've learned that Wallace is a necromancer. And the only person at the Academy that's capable of high-level necromancy. How does the evidence implicate Wallace? Well, it would be a magical trace of necromancy was found on the body. Yeah, on the body. There's a trace of necromancy on the body. It seems that they think Wallace used one of his necromancy spells. Even without seeing the traces, it's pretty obvious that magic was used on the body. Right, because there aren't any wounds on it. And the autopsy report found no signs of poison or disease. Which spell do they think Wallace used? If I know Prosecutor Steelwind, she probably already has a theory on which spell he might have used. The prosecution will probably argue that Wallace used one of his spells to kill Bellwether. And they're gonna say it was Necrotic Blight. They'll probably say that he used Necrotic Blight. That makes sense. Necrotic Blight would have drained the life force from her body. Yes, blood sent out of the body had been updated in your notes. Yes, there would, exactly as I said earlier. There's a pool of blood where Catherine Bellwether's body was. This is strange because she wouldn't have been wounded by necrotic blights. But that's where the contradiction lies. Alright, I'm slightly concerned. I thought I was getting a head start on the trial, but apparently we're solving this like pre-trial. So... yeah, I thought it was being clever. Apparently not. Okay, well, that's where the contradiction lies. Let's suppose that Wallace did kill Bellwether using necrotic blights. There's something at the crime scene that wouldn't be there if that were true. What's wrong with the crime scene? Bellwether's body was covered in blood. Necrotic Blight is a spell that doesn't inflict any visible wounds. There shouldn't have been any blood on the body. But then what really happened? That's the last piece. And if I had to guess, the information we need is being hidden by one of the witnesses who discovered the body.
Valentina?
She's definitely hiding something. Did you notice how she reacted when I asked you to scan the room?
Yeah, she ran away. She didn't even try to be subtle about it.
With the way she reacted, I think she may have been trying to hide herself from your detect magic. Which can only mean that there's a magical trace on her.
I know what she's trying to hide.
There's only one way to find out. The next time you see her, could you subtly cast detect magic and scan her?
Alright. So now, since we talked to her, Valerie also mentioned that they still had work to do today. She'll be back at the Academy's kitchen now.
Indeed. Well, don't worry, sir. We'll get you out of this. Your friend is gone. I'm trying to get some cleaning done.
Okay, there she is.
Use detect magic to scan her from here.
Right?
Just don't shout the incantation like you always do.
Know that.
I mean, it's more fun that way, but fine, whatever. Practicality.
Alright, here he goes. Aerial Arcana. What the?
What is it?
There's a trace of magic on her.
I knew it! Which school of magic is it?
It's necromancy. There's a trace of necromancy on her.
What? Valentine's magical trace has been added to your notes. Okay. Someone cast a necromancy spell on her within the last 48 hours. Interesting.
What do you do now?
You're still not sure how this fits in with everything. For now, let's talk to her and see if we can get more information out of her. If all else fails, we can confront her with the evidence we have. Oh, it's you two again! Back?
You just relax. All I have to do is repeat what I told them last time.
Unfortunately for her, that won't work this time. Okay. Hey, so I was just looking around and I couldn't help but get a slight feeling that you had magic on your body. Miss Sianis, did you notice that there is a trace of necromancy on Bellwether's body? That's what he used to kill the professor, right? A necromancy spell? That's the thing. If that were true, a lot of the evidence we found doesn't make sense. I think someone else cast a spell on the body. Is it possible that you saw someone use magic on Miss Bellwether?
No, definitely not. Calm down, there's no way to know. How could they know?
Her thoughts are an open book now. If you beat her in an argument, her thoughts might show you what she's hiding. Valentina Iannis' psychological profile is complete. Alright. Did you see something? Valentina clearly knows more than she's letting on. She found the body alongside her sister and reacted strangely when you mentioned someone may have used magic on the body. What is she hiding? Let's go. Miss Sianis, from the very beginning, I've felt like you've been hiding something from us. There's something that you're not telling us about.
What are you talking about? My conscience is clear. Told you in the nights everything I know. I've got nothing to hide. Need to stay calm.
Okay. Use this against claims that contradict the displayed emotion. Use this against claims that contradict the thoughts. Use this against claims that contradict a piece of evidence. You need to stay calm, but you're panicked. Miss Giannis, it's clear to anyone how nervous you are. I can practically see the fear you're emanating right now. Just tell us the truth. It'll be a lot easier for both of us. Let's say I were hiding something. Which I'm not, by the way. I don't have to tell you anything. I shan't tell you anything. I know my rights. As they threaten, you've already given your statement to the Inquisition. If the truth comes out, what do you think they'll do when they realize you lied to them? You have nothing to lose by telling us what happened. I know you're not the murderer. I'll make sure you're protected. My client is innocent. By withholding your testimony, you're condemning him to a wrongful conviction. Valentina is more concerned with protecting herself than doing the right thing. She'll continue to hide her secrets unless she thinks that doing so is dangerous for her. She sees Wallace as a villainous necromancer and will not feel pity for him. We gotta rationalize here. You have nothing to lose by telling us what happened. I know you're not the murderer. I'll make sure you're protected. You have nothing to lose by telling us what happened. I know that you're not the murderer, and I'll make sure that you're protected.
I'd never trust you. Just met you today.
She's right. She has very little reason to trust you. Okay, look. Alright, fine then. You gave your save to the Inquisition. If the truth comes out, what do you think they're gonna do when you realize you lied to them? You already given your statement to the Inquisition. If the truth comes out, what do you think they'll do when they realize you lied to them? Who are you protecting, Messianis?
You talk a big game. But you can't actually prove anything, can you? Think I'm lying to protect someone? I don't know anyone who can use magic. I don't even know any mages. I definitely didn't see anyone use magic on the body.
Really, that's so? That's odd. If you don't know anyone who uses magic... Well, firstly... Wait. I don't know anyone who can use magic. You... My sister in Christ, you work at a magic academy. I mean... Can we just present, like, her employments? I'm gonna assume we probably need the magical trace as the evidence. You can't hide the truth from us, Messianis.
What?
You said that you've never seen a necromancy spell before. If that were true, then why is there a trace of necromancy on you?
Wait, what? Is there some necromancy on me?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. What? Did you not know about the spell that was cast on her? No, that doesn't make any sense. If she didn't know about the trace, she wouldn't have avoided Celeste back then. There's an explanation for this. You've successfully argued against Valentina Iannis. So, Miss Iannis, or Miss Corpse, I say?
This is crazy. Why is there a chance of necromancy on me? Am I going to die? Am I going to become a zombie?
That's strange. Is she really unaware that a spell is cast on her? Or is she playing dumb? Why doesn't Valentina know that the spell was necromancy? She knows that someone used magic on her, but she doesn't know the spell is necromancy? The spell cast on Valentina. Hit her, attacked her, killed her! No, it healed her. Now, Valentina should have noticed someone casting a spell on her. She knows about the spell, she just didn't know that it was necromancy. Wait, when did it become the room? No, it's not the room. It's the spell. The spell cast on her. Calm down, Messianis. Not all necromancy spells relate to the undead. Healing spells are also from the school of necromancy.
Healing spells? Oh, from that time she healed that cut.
She, that implies that she knows a mage who studies healing magic. Could that person be a student here?
Sorry, there's something else I have to do. I'll be right back. Hey, come back here.
Oh, she ran away again.
I can catch her. There's no way she can outrun me.
No. The Inquisition is still stationed around the surrounding areas. They'd probably intervene if we started harassing one of the witnesses.
That's true. But we weren't able to learn anything.
Actually, I did learn one thing. She has a friend who cast a healing spell on her.
Really? How did you figure that out?
Good deductive reasoning.
Wow. Well, healing magic is also a form of necromancy, right? I guess that explains the trace on her. It's a good thing we know Wallace. Otherwise, we might have also thought the necromancer was trying to kill her.
Wait a minute. That's it!
What, did you figure something out?
This whole time, we've been wondering why there's traces of necromancy on the body. It isn't because someone attacked Bellwether with a necromancy spell. It's because someone used necromancy in an attempt to heal her.
Oh, I see. Doesn't matter what type of necromancy spell someone uses. Spells from the same school magically have the same type of trace.
It's not just that, the body clearly has blood on it. What would happen if someone used a healing spell on a wounded body? It would close all of the body's wounds. In other words, it would remove any cuts or bruises.
Well, interrogating Valentina may have been a dead end, but it still gave us just what he needed to win the case.
I'm not so sure that was a dead end.
What do you mean? It's not that suspicious that she asked someone to heal her if she injured herself.
But if it's only that, why would she got such much trouble to hide it? If it's too coincidental. The wounds in the body were healed by an unknown person. And the person who found the body is hiding the identity of a healer. They have to be the same person. Well, they don't have to, but it's likely.
I guess that makes sense. So what do we do now?
Valentina is definitely onto us. I doubt we'll get a third chance to speak with her. Hopefully what we have now is enough to acquit Wallace. You've done everything you can. Use what you've learned to poke holes in the prosecution's case. If that doesn't work, you can drag Valentina onto the witness stand and pull the truth out of her. You just hope that what she's hiding is enough to acquit Wallace. Who the heck is this?
I demand to know why you're still holding on to my rapier. It's a precious family heirloom and I want it back.
It's evidence. It is evidence in the current case.
Evidence? The professor was killed with necromancy.
Was she though?
Why are you asking me? You're the one who's investigating this.
I suppose it doesn't matter. Just know that I will bring the murderer to justice. No matter who it may be.
Huh.
Yes. Going to trial. Alright, it's time for the trial. Just take deep breaths and relax.
Hi, Tyrion.
Oh, Celeste. Don't stick up on me like that.
Why are you so nervous?
Not as if this is your first time defending someone. Yeah, okay, my bad, you're right. It's my second time! Jeez. I can't help it. There's something about this building that just fills with anxiety.
It's too bad Ruby couldn't make it. I'd say that you should calm down for Wallace's sake, but...
There are so many people here. They're all staring at me. There's Brian, Jack Pekka, flushing maggots.
Gross.
Don't worry, Wallace. Our investigation revealed a lot of weaknesses in the prosecution's case. We have a strong case for your acquittal.
Okay.
See, you can be confident when you want to be.
It's strange. Something is calming about Wallace's anxiety. It's like he just absorbs the tension out of you and into himself.
Court is now in session for the trial of Wallace Nightgrave.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is also ready. Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Stillwind, could you please list the charges?
The defendant is a student of the Ravengard Imperial Academy. Mr. Nightgrave is charged with the first-degree murder, negligent misuse of the arcane arts, and illegal practice of advanced necromancy. Okay, well, so we can defend you on the first two, but I think we're gonna have to do a plea deal on the third.
What? It's not my fault that you're illicitly using necromancy, okay?
Sheesh.
Necromancy? Do you mean to tell me the defendant is a necromancer?
I can't believe it. A necromancer in this day and age?
How could the kingdom let this happen?
Your Honor, I'd like to remind the court that they should view my client objectively.
Of course, but one can easily see it from the list of charges. Necromancy plays a large role in the charges.
Indeed, the crime scene occurred within the academy this morning.
Very quick justice system, by the way.
The victim is Catherine Bellwether, a professor at the school. Although there were no witnesses, traces of necromancy were detected on the body. Furthermore, the autopsy report shows that the body has no physical wounds.
I see.
Necromancy is the only type of magic that can harm an individual without physically wounding them. Additionally, the alchemist's report shows no signs of poison or disease. Therefore, one can only conclude that a necromancer had committed the crime.
Arya, my lady, my woman. Girl. Opposition. Prosecutor. Esquire. Surely. You have not made such an elementary oversight in your analysis of the case.
As many of you know, necromancy is under high scrutiny by the Crown. Aside from the defendant, no other students were permitted to learn advanced necrotic magic. As such, the defendant was the only mage in that building capable of committing the matter.
I see. That is certainly compelling evidence.
To properly present our case, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orrin White to the stand. Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings.
Yeah. It started when the City Watch got a call from the Imperial Academy. Someone was attacked and the whole building was put on lockdown. We set up a perimeter around the area and waited for the lockdown system to deactivate. When he finally got into the building, the prosecutor personally inspected the body and detected traces of necromancy on it. There were no cuts or bruises on the body either. The entire body was clean. With those two pieces of evidence, we concluded that it could only have been necromancy that killed it. The necromancy kid that did it, rather.
The Inquisition's testimony is just as you expected. You already found and identified the holes in Steelwind's case. All you have to do is find that hole in the commander's testimony.
Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. It started when the City Watch got a call from the Imperial Academy. Someone was attacked and the whole building was put in lockdown.
Yes, about that. What time did this call come in?
A little after 3 p.m. Was a few minutes after the murder was discovered.
Right, you remember that was around the time the lockdown occurred.
We set up a perimeter around the area and waited for the lockdown systems to deactivate.
Right, the lockdown can't be ended manually. So they must have been forced to wait for 1 hour for the 1 hour duration to elapse. How secure was the perimeter? Is it possible someone slipped past you?
The Inquisition was working in conjunction with the City Watch and the King's Guard. With that many people at the scene, it's very unlikely that anyone escaped unnoticed.
True. For better or for worse, the kingdom will act quickly to protect a building filled with nobles.
When he finally got into the building, the prosecutor personally inspected the body and detected traces of necromancy on it.
Why did the prosecutor inspect the body instead of the Inquisition?
Well,
how I conducted the investigation is irrelevant to the proceedings. Or would you like to insinuate that I am not as competent as Commander White?
You don't question her competency. But it's still a bizarre decision on her part.
The court admits that the prosecutor's actions are unorthodox. We see no reason to question the prosecutor's abilities.
Thank you, Your Honor.
There are no cuts or bruises on the body either. The entire body was clean.
How carefully was the body checked? Perhaps the prosecution missed something.
The coroner couldn't even find the smallest cut, bruise, or fracture on the body. Furthermore, the alchemist's report shows no signs of poison or disease. The coroner was actually astounded at how unscathed the body was.
That makes sense. If someone had used mend wounds on the body, it would have healed even the most minor of injuries. The question is, how do you prove that?
Well, those two pieces of evidence where you concluded that it could only have been the necromancer head that did it.
And the prosecution believes that my client used necrotic blight.
Yep, it's the only way that the crime scene makes any sense. Necrotic blights? I'm afraid I've never heard of this spell before.
Necrotic Blight is a spell that drains the life force from its target. When used on a living human, it makes their bodily functions cease, instantly killing them.
I see.
What a horrible spell! That child should never have been allowed to learn something like that.
What were they thinking?
Having that spell is not doing well as any favors.
Here to investigate the crime scene, so we know that the Inquisition's theory contradicts one of the clues that we found.
Right, all I have to do is present that contradiction to the courts. Okay, so it's gotta be... What statement is it? Like, obviously we're presenting... mend wounds. The question is it can... It's gotta be here, because this is the conclusion. Mend wounds. Your Honor, it's clear that what is its testimony is contradictory. And this piece of evidence proves it.
I fail to see how that proves anything, Mr. Cuthbert.
Oh, I guess you're right. Okay, actually, as it turns out, mend wounds can mend wounds.
Objection!
Your Honor, it's clear that the witness's testimony is contradictory. And this piece of evidence proves it.
I fail to see how that proves anything, Mr. Cuthbert.
I guess you're right. Okay, well, did you know that mend wounds is a necromancy spell?
Objection!
Your Honor, it's clear that the witness's testimony is contradictory. And this piece of evidence proves it.
I fail to see how that proves anything, Mr. Cuthbert.
I guess you're right. Okay, and what else do we have? Blood stain under the body, I think. That's probably what we gotta do. Yeah, the body was not entirely clean. There's a blood stain underneath. There we go.
Objection!
Okay. Commander White, it appears that you've neglected to mention one key detail of the crime scene.
Yes, and what's that?
During your testimony, you said the entire body was clean. I will admit that there weren't any wounds on the body. However, the body was certainly not clean. At the scene of the crime, there was a large pool of blood located where the body was. This blood came from the victim's body, and it was definitely not clean like the commander testified.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but I failed to see the significance of this.
I'd like to remind the court of the prosecution's case against my clients. They're accusing him of murdering the victim using necrotic blight, a spell which would not have physically wounded the victim. So why was there any blood at all?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The fact that still stands, there were no wounds on the body, nor were there any reports of poison or disease on the autopsy. There are clearly magical elements in this case.
But Catherine Bellwether was bleeding profusely at some point. How else would there be a blood stain on the body? Do you have an explanation for that, Miss Steelwind?
No, I'll admit the prosecution doesn't have an explanation for that. And while I do find the circumstances questionable, all the evidence clearly points to the defendants. Which spell would leave a trace of necromancy? If the victim wasn't killed with necromancy, why was there a trace of it on the body?
I'm glad you asked. I'd like to present a spell that could have left a trace of necromancy on the body. Enter Mend Wounds.
Mend wounds? Correct if I'm wrong, but isn't that a healing spell?
That's correct, Your Honor. Spells from the School of Necromancy can control the forces of death and life. Mend Wounds is in fact a necromancy spell.
Really now? I wasn't aware of this.
Now I'd like the court to consider the following. What would happen if Bellwether was wounded and someone attempted to heal her using Mend Wounds? All of her wounds would disappear from her body.
I see.
Objection!
Do you honestly think that I'm that incompetent, Mr. Cuthbert?
Yes?
Frankly, I'm a little insulted.
What?
The Inquisition is well aware of what happens when a mage attempts to save a victim using Mend Wounds. The healers that arrived at the scene already confirmed that the victim was long dead. None of them attempted to heal her.
Well, what if someone tried to heal her and didn't report it?
Please, none of the healers would have anything to gain by doing so. In fact, as a necromancer, the defendant could have easily carried out the described scenario. He could have cast Mend Wounds on the victim after murdering her to confound the investigation.
What, to frame himself? With necromancy magic on the body? At the end of the day, the burden of proof is on you. But if you could just find out who healed the body, the case is yours. Whoever the healer is, Valentina definitely knows her. Your Honor, I admit that I don't have any evidence to support my theory. However, I do believe that we can bring it to light. There may have been 2 people that witnessed someone cast magic on the body. Valentina and Valeria Yanis, the sisters who discovered the body.
This is nonsense. We've already questioned those 2 witnesses extensively. If they had witnessed something like that, it would have come up in their testimony.
If that's true, then you have nothing to lose by hearing their testimonies.
Very well. If you're so confident, let's hear the witness's testimony.
It seems the prosecution has no objections. However, if this line of questioning leads nowhere, I will see no reason to further prolong this trial. Do you understand, Mr. Cuthbert?
Of course, Your Honor. So which one are you? Oh crap, it's this guy from before. See that necromancer's lawyer? She just got on the stand. She's already stressed out. This could work in your favor.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
My name?
Witness, there is no need to be so nervous. We merely want to hear about what you saw on the day of the murder.
Right, it's this guy over there.
You mean Mr. Cuthbert? Did this man harass you, witness?
Wait a minute, no, I haven't tampered with the witnesses, I haven't intimidated the witnesses, I have not harassed the witnesses. I've not bludgeoned the witnesses, I've not assaulted the witnesses. The witnesses are the witnesses. They're here, they're ready to testify, and I have nothing to do with them. Yeah. He, like, super asked me.
How shameful. I would expect a member of our justice system to behave more professionally.
Technically, you're the one who harassed her. You're the one who used the sense magic spell. Oh, shut up. Anyways, please state your name and occupation for the court, Miss Yanis.
Just calm down, you can't prove anything. My name is Valentina Yanis. I'm a member of the kitchen staff at the Avant-Garde Imperial Academy. As I recall, you are one of the first witnesses who discovered the body. Apparently, the defense finds your involvement suspect. Rest assured, Miss Yanis, in this courtroom you will be protected from Mr. Cuthbert's harassment. Now please testify to the court about what happened that day.
Yeah. I was walking with my sister in the West Wing, and then we noticed something in the nearby classroom. Looked over to see what it was. That's when I saw Miss Bellwether bleeding on the ground. My sister tried her best to help her, but the professor had already lost a lot of blood. When my sister did that, I used an emergency communication device to call for help. It was too late. By the time the bleeding stopped, she'd already lost too much blood.
If your theory is true, that means she just lied in her testimony. She's definitely holding something back.
She definitely saw more than she's letting on. You just need to prove that, somehow.
Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination.
Alright. So walking with my sister in the West Wing when we noticed something in a nearby classroom. Where were you two coming from?
We came from the kitchen.
We were taking a break after the lunch rush. The cafeteria is on the west side of the academy. It's believable that they'd be on that side of the building.
What did you see in the classroom, Miss Giannis?
Looked over to see what it was, and that's when we saw Miss Bellwether bleeding on the ground. Did you notice anything else strange in the lecture hall? Well, there was a terrible smell. It was awful. I almost couldn't see because of how much I was tearing up. Other than that, I was mostly focused on the professor. It makes sense. It'd be hard to notice anything else. My sister tried her best to help her, but the professor had already lost a lot of blood. She tried to help her. Miss Giannis, how exactly did your sister try to help Miss Bellwether? First aid, bandages, mend wounds, perhaps?
What? I slipped up. Oh, my sister used first aid to try to stop the bleeding.
I see. Could you please add that detail to your testimony?
Yeah, sure. She used first aid and applied pressure to her wound to stop the bleeding.
Your sister knows how to use a first aid kit.
Yeah, it was covered in her training when we first started working. Well, no, was around. I guess I had to ask everyone to make sure we were prepared.
Hmm.
My sister did that. I used an emergency communicator device to call for help.
A device?
It's an artificial device that allows for long-range communication. Some of those devices are placed around the school for use during an emergency.
I see. So, who did you contact?
I wasn't sure, honestly. We hear a lot of people talking on the other end. That particular device broadcasts to the headmaster's office and the city watch barracks. I imagine that's why the headmaster was able to activate the lockdown so quickly.
I see.
But I was too late. By the time the bleeding stopped, she'd already lost too much blood.
I see. That must have been a difficult experience for both of you.
It was especially hard on my sister. I think she blames herself for not being able to save her.
We didn't like Professor Bellwether, but we still didn't want her to die. She seems sincere when she says that. And you don't see any dissonant thoughts through the eye, either.
Honestly, her testimony makes a lot of sense. It's hard to figure out what parts she might be lying about.
There has to be a contradiction here somewhere.
Your theory is that Valentina saw someone use mend wounds on Bellwether. You should focus on the statement that describes how they both interacted with her.
Okay. So it's gonna be this. Used first aid and applied pressure to stop the bleeding. What evidence do we have to counter this? 201, no signs of cuts or bruising. Valentina has a magical trace. And this just proves that someone healed her at some point. I'm not sure that proves anything in this case in particular. Well, okay, here's my contradiction, I think. It's gotta be... It's gotta be the, where is it? The autopsy report, right? Because if the body was complete, she couldn't, or I guess let's put it this way. If she was killed via, or if the murderer is who we're saying is the one that used the healed wounds, then she shouldn't have been bleeding out at the time the body was discovered. Right?
Objection!
Witness, what is the meaning of this? What are you looking at me like that?
Maybe I can elaborate, Miss Sionis. You weren't present in the gallery earlier, were you?
Yeah, I was sitting in the lobby.
Stealing told me to wait there. Well, I suppose I should consider myself lucky. You see, Miss Sionis, one key element of the case is that the body didn't have any wounds on it.
Yeah, so?
So please explain to the court, Miss Sionis, how did Valerie apply first aid when there shouldn't have been any wounds on the body?
What? Oh no, I screwed up. I saw that wound on her. What happened?
There's clearly something amiss here. I'm afraid I don't fully understand the implications of this. Are you accusing a witness of committing perjury, Mr. Cuthbert?
When someone lies, they stay as close to the truth as possible, changing minute details. In her thoughts, Valentina said there that she was sure she saw a wound on Bellwether. And she also mentioned that Valerie was the one that tried to save the professor. If she didn't try to save Bellwether with first aid, could she have used magic instead? Her sister could be the mage that you're looking for. The witness was lying, Your Honor, but not about everything. Valerie did try to save the victim's life by addressing her wounds. But she didn't use first aid, she used magic.
No, you found us out?
Objection!
I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but your theory is completely flawed.
How so, Miss Stillland?
Well, it's quite simple. We've already verified that neither of the sisters are mages.
How? What? Wait, how can you be so sure?
During the investigation, we had both the Ariana sisters attuned to a spell compendium. It's standard procedure for the Inquisition when interviewing witnesses.
Then that means...
That's correct. Neither of the Honor sisters could attune to a compendium.
Yeah, that's right. The Inquisition checks us both. Neither of us are mages. Are you sure you interviewed both of them? And not just the same one multiple times? Damn it. You wrong about Valerie being a mage then? No, that can't be right.
No, he found us out.
Our thoughts said he found us out. That means that you were right on track. You were on the right track. Valerie has to be the mage you're looking for. Celeste, is it possible for a mage to hold a spell compendium and avoid attuning to it?
No, it just needs to be on their person. When I was arrested, the Inquisition also made me attune to one of their spell compendiums. They were really careful to make sure that I did the attunement correctly. There's no way a mage could avoid attuning to a compendium with them watching you.
Right. Commander White may be negligent sometimes, but even he isn't that careless.
Now if you're done, I do believe that you exhausted all of your options.
Wait, I'm still not done cross-examining this witness. That I called, so it's not technically cross-examination, but forget that.
What could you possibly hope to glean from her testimony?
Valentina should be stressed out enough to see more of her thoughts. You can't exactly say that you're planning to read her mind. There's one key element of her testimony that the court is overlooking. I have a right as an attorney to complete my cross-examination.
Your Honor, the defense is clearly trying to buy time.
I might be compelled to agree with you. However, I also admit that some elements of the witness's testimony are quite peculiar. I will allow the defense to perform one more cross-examination. That was close. But know this. Know that this is your last chance, Mr. Cuthbert. If you produce nothing substantial, I will pass my verdict.
Of course, Your Honor. Alright, it's all or nothing. If you can't find anything by reading her mind, this whole case is finished.
Witness, please give your testimony once more.
Okay. Yet how long does he plan to keep me up here? Like I said, my sister and I saw Mrs. Bell over there bleeding on the ground. We rushed over to her. I was definitely surprised when I saw her like that. Now that you mentioned it, I don't know if I saw any wounds on her, but I definitely saw blood. Can't go back on that now, I just need to play dumb. My sister tried to save her, but she didn't use magic. Valerie, you're too kind-hearted for your own good. Neither of us was made. Both of us held the book the knights gave us. I was caught off guard when they asked us. They must have found us out. The Commander was watching us the whole time. He can confirm that. It's a good thing that we're twins, or else that trick wouldn't have worked. I'll see you, Jedi Steve. Thanks for stopping by.
What are we going to do? I have pretty hard proof that Valerie isn't a mage.
Valerie is the mage we're looking for. I'm sure of it. I'm just not sure why they felt the need to lie to the Inquisition. More importantly, how did they trick the Inquisition?
Like I said, my sister and I saw Mrs. Belder bleeding on the ground. We rushed over to her.
That matches the details of her previous testimony. You have no reason to doubt this.
As you mentioned, I don't know if I saw any wounds on her, but I definitely saw blood.
It sounds like you're just backtracking on your previous testimony.
I'm not! I just assumed she was wounded because of all the blood.
That's actually fair.
How was I supposed to know that someone closed her wounds?
Her thoughts imply that she's lying, but her logic is sound. You need to look at her other statements and the thoughts that accompany them.
My sister had to save her, but she didn't use magic. You're too kind-hearted for your own good.
If Valerie wasn't the one who closed her wounds, how did she try to help her?
I don't know. Could have been looking for an open wound to apply first aid to.
But if we assume that you're telling the truth, there wouldn't be any wounds to find. My client would have already closed them to confound the investigation.
I'm telling you, I don't know.
It's hard to work with her pleading ignorance of what happened. Maybe we should try looking at the thoughts of her other statements.
I was caught off guard when they asked us. No sound us out. Yes, Mrs. Mage.
No sound them out. Can I assume that this book was an unattuned spell compendium?
Yes, the Inquisition has a myriad of them. It's standard procedure to have witnesses attuned to them.
But doesn't the kingdom require that mages register? Why don't you just cross-reference those records with witnesses' names?
For whatever reason, many mages among the common folk dislike the concept of registering. As a result, many of them choose to hide their powers illegally.
Kendra was watching us the whole time. We can confirm it. It's good that we're twins, or else that trick wouldn't have worked. It's a good thing that they're twins. Did you pull some kind of trick to deceive the Inquisition while tuning, Miss Giannis?
Of course not! You know that lying to the Inquisition would get us in trouble. Why'd either of us take a risk like that?
Living as an unregistered mage is a serious crime. If Valor was a mage, then you would have been charged with fraud right then and there.
Yeah, but we already proved that neither of us are mages.
That seems to differ. Think through this. This isn't like a normal cross-examination. Nearly all of her thoughts will be suspicious and contrary to her testimony. What you need to do is find the thought that gives you a thread to pull. In this case, you need to find the thought that implies that the twins tricked the commander. You find the thought, yeah, and then you press interpret. Of course, of course. Right here. It's a good thing we're twins, or that trick wouldn't have worked.
Objection!
Miss Giannis, your thoughts betray you.
What?
You found the thoughts. They must have done something, but what? It must have happened when Commander White was interrogating them.
Autumn was the one who collected the statements.
Did he notice anything off about their behavior?
From what he said, they had a few quirks, but nothing too suspicious.
Quirks?
He told me that they were running and spinning around him during questioning.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. Perhaps they were still on edge after finding their co-worker murdered.
Running and spinning. Our thoughts also said it's a good thing that we're twins. How did the twins trick the Inquisition? This means that their so-called trick wouldn't have worked if they weren't twins. Okay. Valentina switched places with Valerie. Of course, they switched places! Valentina attuned to the first spell compendium. Then she pretended to be Valerie to attune to the second. Commander White couldn't tell the difference between them. Miss Giannis, there's something I want to confirm. During the investigation, both you and Valerie attuned to a spell compendium. Am I correct?
Yeah, the Night Watch does do it.
And how did he have you do this? Did you both attune to those compendiums at the same time? Or did you attune one after another?
What? No, why does he know what he did? I fail to see how that makes any difference, Mr. Cuthbert.
Yes, I agree. The spell compendiums would work regardless of what order they went in.
You may not be aware of this, Your Honor, but Valentina and Valerie Giannis are identical twins. Which means that their physical appearances are nearly identical to each other. If Commander White didn't have them attuned at the same time, what would stop the twins from switching places with each other?
Objection!
This is a clearly nothing but baseless conjecture. Autumn wouldn't fail at such a basic task.
Really, Prosecutor Steelwind? You find it hard to believe that Commander White would fail at a task like this?
Wait a minute, this is crazy. He didn't trick the Inquisition? My sister and her aren't mages.
Then prove it, Miss Giannis. Bring in your sister and we'll have you attune to your two spells compendiums at the same time.
No, wait.
Order in the courts. It's clear that we won't get anywhere unless we test the defense's theory. Bailiff escort asks Valerie Giannis to the stand, bring two unattuned spell compendiums.
They both had their hands on those compendiums for the last 10 minutes. There's no way they can fake it in front of this many people.
All right, it's a moment of truth. You can only hope that your theory is correct.
No, did he seriously?
What is it, Prosecutor Steelwind? What do you see?
Oh, she's mad.
What I see is Commander White seeking no employment in the near future. It appears that the defense was correct. Valentina Giannis isn't a mage, but Valerie Giannis is. What's more, Valerie Giannis' compendium contains the Mend Wounds spell, which makes the defense's theory entirely plausible. Please just let me explain. We should allow you to explain what exactly. You're an unregistered mage. You and your sister have made fools out of us all with your perjury.
How would you notice like Lady Steelwind?
What?
Do you think we didn't notice your name? You're not like us. You don't have to hide. Whatever, this whole situation's gotten out of hand. I didn't think hiding would cause so much trouble. You don't let someone go to prison because of me, even if he is a necromancer.
Please let me testify about what I saw. I'll tell you what really happened that day.
Very well. But understand that there will be repercussions for your actions, witness.
Yes, I know. My sister and I were walking the hallway from the kitchen to the foyer. Then I suddenly saw the professor lying in a pool of blood in a nearby classroom. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her. I saw that she was bleeding, so I cast mend wounds on her to close her wounds. But it was too late. I closed the hole in her stomach, but she was already dead.
I mean, that's case closed then, right? For us. Like, we don't need to figure out who did it. We just need to get our client off the hook. And if the only reason he was the main suspect was due to the necromancy, then this solves that question. Now they got nothing on him. In fact, he's got an airtight alibi on top of it. Like, we win, right?
There was a hole in her stomach.
Your Honor, as you can clearly see from the witness's testimony, the trace of necromancy was left by the witness, not my client. What's more, it's clear that there was a physical wound on the body.
I see, well.
His words trail off. He clearly doesn't want to pass a verdict when there's no clear culprits. But I'm the defense. It's the burden of proof is on the prosecution. I don't need to convict someone in my client's stead. I just need to defend my client. He did not do this. He looked to Ari to figure out who did. But he has no choice. The case against Wallace is predicated on Bellwether being killed by necromancy. With Valerie's testimony, the prosecution doesn't have a shred of evidence implicating him.
Very well. Court sees no reason to prolong this trial.
You'd better not jump in here with some BS.
With these new developments, the court has no choice but to find Wallace, Nightgrave, Knots.
Objection!
What straws you to grasp up now?
I believe this court is ignoring one key detail of the witness's testimony.
No, I guess it makes sense they get to cross-examine too, but And what would that be, Miss Steelland? Yeah, the chat on the video doesn't include YouTube chat, that is correct. A, to do more complicated to do a combined chat, but also B, I think it might actually technically against Twitch TOS, so I might read it over again just to kind of clarify that, but when I read it over last time, that seemed to be the case, so that's why. And what would that be, Miss Steelwind? It works out more or less, because the YouTube chat does end up getting saved long-term on the YouTube, like VOD, whereas the Twitch chat, obviously the Twitch VODs expire eventually, so yeah. And so what would that be, Miss Steelwind?
Let's re-examine the witness's testimony. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her. I saw that she was bleeding, so I cast mend wounds on her to close her wounds. It was too late. I closed the hole in her stomach, but she was already dead. The communication device that Valentina Yanis used to use logs the time of day during each use.
Yeah, and?
From this log, we know that Valentina used the device at 3:04 p.m.
Okay, and? Point being?
This was an hour after the time of death.
Where are you going with this?
Mr.
Hold on.
Mr. Cuthbert, there was a witness who saw the victim before the body was found. John Hughes.
Hold on. I need to get some water real quick. My voice is failing me. I'll be right back. It is about time I get some water anyways. I'm kind of irregular with my water drinking. Anyways,
Mr. Cuthbert, there was a witness who saw the victim before the body was found. Jan Hus. He, along with another witness, spotted Bellwether walking in the hallways before the body was found.
I was cleaning the halls. The knocked over a vase. There were shards and dirt everywhere. So I told you 30 minutes before the twins found the body.
well, it could have been an illusion spell. The question is who cast it.
27 minutes before the body was found. Do you see the discrepancy, Mr. Cuthbert?
Wait. That can't be right. Belver died more than an hour before the body was found. So how did Jan see her half an hour after her death?
I wonder, Mr. Cuthbert. How could one make a dead body move and walk around?
No, you can't mean.
There was more than one piece of evidence that pointed to a necromancer committing the crime. The defendant murdered the victim and used necromancy to animate their corpse.
They're not dead? Created within the Imperial Academy? Reprehensible. That's ridiculous. She had a hole in her stomach when the twins found her. John Hughes would have noticed that.
Animate corpse stops the flow of blood so she wouldn't have to track the blood anywhere. The defendant is also proficient with illusion magic. He could have easily used an illusion spell to hide the undead Bellwether's wounds.
But another party could have easily used illusion magic to disguise themselves as the victim.
If that were true, how did they move the body to the classroom?
Huh? Miss Stewart, if your theory is true, it would mean that the murder occurred elsewhere. Or the Inquisition happened to know where.
Regrettably, we do not.
Then the prosecution's case against my client is still faulty. You can't convict my client without more evidence. I agree with Mr. Cuthbert. With these new developments, the court sees it fit to suspend the trial for the time being. It will give law enforcement time to investigate these unknowns. Court proceedings for this case will resume tomorrow morning. Court is adjourned.
Hey, are you feeling okay?
A body is seen moving around an hour after death? Clear it wasn't Bellwether. At the very least, she wasn't alive when this happened. So what was it?
Tyrion?
There's illusion magic involved. There has to be. But which spell was it? Could have been illusory disguise? Tyrion! Uh-oh, what?
You've been quiet since the trial ended. You're making me worried.
Sorry, I was just thinking about what Steelwind said.
You mean about her theory?
It's a little creepy when you think about it. Do you really think someone turned the professor into an undead? I don't think so. The prosecution's case is hinged on one clear fact. That Wallace was the only high-level necromancer nearby. We have to assume that he's the only person capable of using that type of magic.
Then how was she walking around?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It's a given that Wallace didn't touch the body, so we can discount the use of high-level necromancy.
No doubt what someone used an illusion. But aren't there spells that can create freestanding illusions, not just disguises?
I honestly don't know. We need to talk to someone who knows about that type of magic. The creepy girl. Wait, didn't Era say that she was studying illusion magic? She might be able to tell us if something like that is possible.
Is that really a good idea?
Is that really a good idea? What do you mean? What if she's the one who created the illusion? It's plausible. What? You're detecting fear from her again. Celeste, are you scared of Eris? What? No. I saw it this morning too. You always get really scared when she's around. Oh, I thought I was doing a better job of hiding it. Sorry, it's not based on anything real, but if you've been working as a mercenary, you do that kind of work, you build up an instinct to sense danger. You kind of have to if you want to stay alive. Sorry, I never knew. Tyrion, I've fought literal monsters and barely escaped with my life. But when I'm near Eris, none of those creatures come even close. I get this feeling, it's like I'm in front of a predator that I don't even ever hope to beat. I couldn't ever hope to beat. Every instinct I have tells me to run whenever she's close by. Really? But she doesn't seem that dangerous. I know, maybe I'm just anxious or something. I should know better than anyone not to judge people by their appearance. Sorry, forget that I said anything. If you think we should talk to her, then we should do that. You're not one to discount Celeste's instincts. She's always been reliable, and if Eris is making her scared, that must mean something. But if Eris really is that dangerous, then that's all the more reason to talk to her. But aside from that, there's also something else that the prosecutor said.
Mr. Cuthbert, there was a witness who saw the victim before the body was found. John Hughes. He, along with the other witness, spotted Valor walking in the hallway before the body was found.
She said along with another witness. That means that there was another witness that saw Bellwether walking around.
Right, Jan probably isn't the most reliable witness. So talking to the other person might help us figure out what happened. Do you think Steelwind will tell us who that witness was?
At this point, we won't lose anything but trying. In any case, it looks like you have your work cut out for you. So where should you start first? With a save, that's for sure. And I guess this is probably about at the halfway point of the case. Like nearly 3 hours into the stream. It's one of those awkward things. I'm not really keen on streaming another 3 hours tonight. So I think the second half of the case could be shorter than the first half, but I don't have any way of knowing that. So I think already this case, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like this apparently had like 4 parts, at least maybe 5, so I think we'll leave it here for now. And we'll come back to it next week. Alright. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching the stream today. Hope you've enjoyed. And yeah. Nothing on Friday this week. I'm busy with other things, unfortunately. The next week as well. Oh, that's rest. There we go. Next week, it might actually just be Thursday and Friday. I'm probably gonna have to go out of town for a day or two, so yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday stream might not happen. If there is only a Thursday and Friday stream, it's going to almost certainly be Tyrion Cuthbert and then something else fun for Friday. We'll see. I don't know. Could be Jackbox. I don't know. I'm kind of disenchanted on Jackbox. Like, I think for Jackbox to... I don't know. We either need a lot more moderators and to get them set up for moderating the actual games, or we've got to like pivot to, or we can do just quiz games, or pivot to like some other games that have viewer interaction. Which I know there's some, like we could do like Everybody 1-2 Switch, or there's that interesting like it came out of I'd say earlier this year, maybe sometime last year, like a medieval like court simulator game that you could play with chat and whatnot. So we could look into some alternatives too. I don't know. I'm just getting kind of bored and tired of firing up Jackbox, and you get someone who enters the game and just types the N-word a whole bunch. Like, it's so passe, but it's also like, and then at that point I can't even like, edit the videos put on YouTube or anything, so it's just, yeah. We had a good run, but I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, guys, enough of that nonsense. See you next week. Have a nice rest of your week, day, night, evening, morning, whatever it is technically for you. And until next time, I've been CMeeCraft, and I'll catch you in the next stream or video. Goodbye.